All right, it's me.
Wow, this is surreal, man. Thanks for doing this today.
It's very real. Thank you for having me.
Pelle, before I start, I don't know if you can see me.
I can see you.
I have to tell you before we get into this, a few years ago, I was going to New York for the very first time for like a friend's wedding, and my flight got delayed, and I didn't get there until like quite late at night, so I arrive. I go meet up with the couple, and I was like, what would you guys do before I got there? And they're like, oh, we were on a rooftop for a DJ show. And then they show me a picture, and it's you guys doing a DJ set. And I don't think I've ever been so disheartened for a delayed flight in my life.
Well, like when was this? A few years ago?
I think like 2 years ago. I think it might have been on the Hard Rock Cafe rooftop.
Oh yeah, I know which one it was. It was like a rooftop of the Hard Rock Hotel in New York.
Yeah, I was
like in Midtown. It's kind of like, yeah, they gave us like a free stay and stuff. It was kind of nice.
Wow.
But like such random. It was a fun thing though.
I like I said, I was incredibly crushed.
Shame you missed it.
Yeah. And then the Mets got rained out as well, so it was quite the trip to New York for me.
Okay.
You release Lex Hives in 2012, Pelle, and then we go all the way to 2023 where we get the death of Randy Fitzsimmons. And then not so long of a wait, now we got the Hives Forever, the Hives. This is like the fastest you guys have ever put out two separate records. Like, what was the driving factor for that?
The ketchup effect.
Okay.
It's kind of like nothing, everything. Well, we were kind of... There was a lot of like, we had a lot of difficulty, obviously, since we didn't make a record in 10 years, agreeing on all sorts of things. And then I think we decided if we make two records, everybody gets their will. So instead of doing nothing like we had done, we did everything. And that meant that there was two records instead of one, and that felt like a better solution.
And why the 2-year wait? Like, was it organizing the songs, or you just wanted to just give it some breathing room?
We hadn't recorded the second record. It was like half written or whatever. There was an idea and some songs, but not a full completed record.
Fair
and the
enough.
wait was just like because we were touring the first record. Like that's how long a campaign takes. Like tour throughout the world on the for Randy Fitzsimmons record, and then put out the new record and then immediately tour that. It was kind of based on like where it sounds kind of cool where I think it was like a couple of bands like Ramones, Slipknot, and Oasis all did two records before they released the first one.
Fair.
So we figured it was kind of like a relaunching of the Hives, like a new era, and we should have two records before we put out the first one. To for once in our life have something that we've heard being called momentum, but we've never experienced it. So that was kind of cool.
Fair. I do want to mention you guys also do fantastic music videos, Pelle, and it's something I feel is like slowly being lost almost in the modern age. So like, where do these concepts from being like giant statues in a Stockholm museum to the Viking vessels and the heavy prosthetics in Stockholm City Hall come from? Like, do you feel music videos are still being used for like the promotional tool they were, or is it like an accompanying art piece to the songs? And like, how do you guys keep building on that?
Well, I guess we come from an era where that was like a thing. How you related to an artist was through seeing their music video. Like that's when you found out more about them than just a song in the album cover. And we had fun making them all the way. Like it's always kind of our ideas. And so it was always kind of it was part, not necessarily just a promotional tool, but more part of our creative output or whatever. Like, it's part of what we do. You know, we want everything to come from the band and be communicated as directly as possible. So we kind of we don't like shooting them, or we like coming up with them. And then I think music videos are in a weird way kind of back, but not as a promotional tool. But, you know, most people listen to music on YouTube, and then you might as well have that thing shown, you know. But yeah, we probably spend more time and effort on it than it's worth, but that's art.
Do you have a favorite one you've done?
Oh, I don't know. I think a favorite recent one is Paint a Picture, because it was like so cheap and kind of easy. Like the idea is the whole thing. I think my two recent favorites are that and the Rigor Mortis radio video with the dancing.
Yeah,
like I think those are really fun. to come up with and make.
As a fan of Ill Communication, you said you got Mike D to appear on a Hives record. From a kid working on like Sounds Like Sushi with a man named Tarzan, what kind of moment was like that to bring him in? It feels like it's kismet, like a dream come true for a kid recording in 1994 to having Mike D.
Yeah, I think for everyone in our generation, like there's nothing cooler than a Beastie Boys. So having him work on the record was definitely like kind of a childhood dream come true. And yeah, exactly. Around that time, we recorded Sounds Like Sushi, which is our first demo tape. It was that was like the coolest. That Sabotage was a hit like that year. So it felt very kind of
kismet's the word I've been using.
Full circle. Yeah, you could say that. A full circle thing. Kind of like when we supported AC/DC and I get to be on stage with AC/DC and have long hair. Like that's all I dreamed of when I was 6 years old. To be in front of AC/DC's Marshall stacks while having long hair.
I do have some things here that I'm going to ask you, and if it's not true or incorrect, you can correct me, because the Hives lore runs real deep. And
I refuse to correct anything, but go ahead.
Okay, well, you were just speaking about like when you were 5 or 6. Is it true you had a band called Stallion?
Yeah, I think that may be true. Yeah, it was me, Nicholas, and a kid down the street who had an electric guitar. And the funny thing is, like, there's a recording of it. Our dad recorded it on a tape. And the song starts with me saying, I should start this one with a werewolf scream. And then I do a scream, which sounds exactly like whatever I start the songs with the Hives is. So that's like a habit I haven't been able to kick since those days. Every song starts like, wow.
Well, that was something I was going to ask. I was going to be like, did I ever get recorded? Like, any chance of that leaking online?
I played it on radio a couple of times, like when there's been, I don't think I have the file handy, but I played it on radio a couple of times when I've been interviewed. But because it's funny, like we thought we were playing heavy metal. Like we thought we sounded like whatever, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, AC/DC, that was kind of the stuff that was in at the time. But if you listen to it, it sounds like Japanese noise rock.
Okay.
It sounds like grindcore. Like it sounds nothing like any kind of heavy metal. It's real atonal and unstructured. It's more like free jazz kind of.
Okay, yeah, so free jazz, some grindcore. That's probably some influences from when you were younger. And as someone who convinced their father to take them to, I believe it's Folkets Park, I could be saying it wrong, Bergslags Rockin' to see Creator, Candlemass, G-Anks, Watermelon Men. What advice would you give to young kids trying to get their parents to take them to a Hive show?
I don't know, man. It seems to be going well. There was a lot of kids with their parents last night. So I think there's nothing to be afraid of. I mean, I guess maybe I am like a cautionary tale. Like this is what became of me. But I'm a pretty successful, well-adjusted member of society, so they should tell their parents that.
Is that what you said to get into go seeing Creator and Candlemass?
No, because I wasn't that at the time. I just said I really want to go to this show, and our dad was pretty supportive of anything to do with music because he was like really into jazz. So he was like, he got that. What I really wanted was a dirt bike, and a dog, but there was no way I'm getting any of that. But we did get a Flying V guitar.
Oh, okay.
So I guess he nudged us in that direction. Well, he's probably to blame for or to be given credit for a lot of this.
Speaking of like credit, I'm gonna say a song to you, and you tell me what you think of it. You've probably heard it. Punks Jump Up, Dance to Our Disco. The lead singer on that is someone named Chalk Jaxson. Have you heard that song?
I know that guy pretty well.
Yeah, you think he's got a career ahead of him?
Yeah, it's ongoing.
We haven't heard anything else from Chalk Jaxson. It's been a long time, it seems.
Yeah, he's been keeping quiet for a bit. It doesn't mean he's not going to show up again, but for now and for rights purposes, he sang that song.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. Yeah. I've read that you're not interested in sports, but I also found an interview of you saying your favorite football player is Lacazette. And I noticed in Bogus Operandi, it almost sounds like you're chanting his name when you're saying like I say it. So is there a connection, or are you not interested in sports? Either way, I think that would be like a good goal anthem for him.
Well, I think a lot of fans picked up on that it sounds like that's what I'm singing. It wasn't. It is, like I said, but it sounds like that. And who am I to come in the way of a good story? So, yeah, sure. But I have actually two sports I'm a big fan of, or have been a big fan of. And that's like flat track dirt bike racing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When they're leaning constantly.
Yep.
Yeah, that and sumo wrestling I got really into for a while.
Well, was that like when you first went to Japan? Did you go check that out, or like did that come later?
It's really hard to get. I've tried every time I've gone to Japan. It's really hard to get tickets, and the season's really short. And you got to be lucky that there's a tournament in the city you are, and etc. 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 It's really hard to get into. But I've been watching it on TV my whole life, and it has been a while. But I'm really into that. That's really entertaining. And what it has in common is with the flat track is that the matches are like 2 minutes long, like a good rock song.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do this 90-minute football game. There's no way I could focus for that long.
I do find it interesting that you say sumo because, correct me if I'm wrong here, don't you have to be like quiet during the matches and like you just clap, you don't really cheer very loudly? Like, is that true?
I don't know. I've never been.
Well,
maybe.
Well, I'll have to get
that seems to be a Japanese thing in general. Like, they show respect by being quiet. So even like our first tours in Japan, they were really quiet as a sign of respect between the songs. But to us, it's actually just really weird. So it's like a culture clash. And it makes you stressed out when you play a song and the crowd is completely quiet. But now they've kind of changed. I guess they've seen Western concerts on YouTube and it's more like it's been equalized, like all things globalization, you know?
Yes, that does make sense, especially that's what YouTube's probably doing to the world, a little globalization. Tigers of Sweden, Iggy Jeans. How many suits do you own? How many do you take on the road?
One each, usually, and maybe a spare jacket to divide between us. We figured out pretty early on that no matter how many suits you bring, they're all going to be disgusting because they're disgusting after one show. So it kind of makes no sense to switch every show. Plus, like the fact that it smells a little bit like ammonia, I think that's kind of like a warrior thing. It alerts the senses and gets you into that kind of fight or flight response that you need to do a good rock show. Well, so I get that, like, you know, a lot of hockey players would never wash their gear out of superstition, but I think it's also because the smell of sweat ignites something in you.
The pheromone, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I did read that you guys also apparently like slap each other up before you go up on stage. So I mean that combined with the
also
sweat.
Part of it, I think. Yeah, also part of it
for sure.
You need to get into some kind of primal, like, because it's a lot of energy playing these, like jumping around and screaming for an hour and a half. Like you can't just do it from a standstill. You gotta get into the zone, kind
of. So we're talking to you from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And I gotta say, like, our only I want to like say like connection to Swedish culture is probably through IKEA.
Mm-hmm.
And
is that culture though? Isn't it more commerce?
That's what I'm gonna say. So like everyone always raves here, like, oh, you got to go to IKEA and you get the Swedish meatballs. Is there like truly something about Swedish meatballs, and is IKEA doing it justice?
I don't think they're like excellent or anything. But if you get a good plate of Swedish meatballs and there's mashed potatoes and there's this brown gravy and there's also lingonberries, like the tartness of the lingonberry oversets the greasiness of the gravy and the meatballs. And then there's also kind of a variation of like a pickled cucumber. It's more like, it's not a pickle as in a jar. It's a cucumber, more like in a kind of almost like a kimchi way, but without chili. So if you get that stuff, it's a pretty perfectly balanced dish, I would say. And if you get it in a good spot, it's pretty delicious.
You're not IKEA, I'm guessing.
Well, I have never had the ones in IKEA.
Oh.
It never felt like that important to me.
You know, that's
because IKEAs are always outside of the city, and like, I'm going to drive to IKEA. Like, I don't know, man.
That's fair. You know, if
I don't spend as much time at IKEA as maybe you would think.
Yeah, I don't think if I was in Sweden, I'd be ripping to go find some poutine. You know, I don't think I'd be going out of my way for that.
Yeah.
So the last time you guys actually came to Calgary was, I believe, 2008. You guys played McEwen Hall. What do we got to do to get you back here? Because, you know, it feels like the bands, the worldwide bands from the EU and area, they always play Canada, but they hit the Toronto, the Montreal, and the Vancouver. We had Queens of the Stone Age come by here a couple months ago. How did we get the Hives here?
I don't know, man. I feel like there's how do I explain this? You know, there's hundreds of cities in the world.
Yeah. I think I know the answer to it, Pelle, but I feel like I have to ask you for the listeners.
I'd love to go to Calgary. I think that was really fun. We also played Winnipeg on that tour, which we've never gone back to since then. And I love playing those shows where it's kind of like where you usually, I mean, how many places, you know, playing London is London, you know, it's fun to go to new places or semi-new places. So I'd love to go to Calgary. I I think it's all kind of logistics, like it's far. And you're going to need to know that you're going to sell enough tickets to not lose money or whatever.
I'm very confident if you guys ever do decide, you will sell the tickets. And I did live in Winnipeg for a brief period as well. So hopefully you went there in the winter and got to experience that, because that is something else.
It was pretty cool. I mean, Sweden is similar enough to Canada. I feel like it's climate-wise pretty similar. But everything's smaller.
That's fair. Very true.
Smaller mountains, smaller lakes, smaller trees. We have all of it, though. It's just like a different scale. I wish we could come back. Maybe we're doing like a tour in the spring of the East Coast. I don't know if I don't want to include it in that.
I was looking at your dates. You know, the young kids who want to go see the Hives, they can figure out a way. They can find a way.
These shows I'm talking about are not released yet. We're doing more North American stuff in the spring.
Okay, that's very. Well, hopefully we see it get closer. You know, I'd love to come by and see a Hive show. I mean,
maybe we could go like halfway each.
Yeah, you know, I was this close in New York, man. This close.
Yeah.
Well, Pelle, I wanted to say thank you for chatting with me. I've always heard before that if you're going to interview someone, you don't tell them you're a fan until the end of the interview, and you save any weirdly specific questions until the end. So I wanted to say thank you for the music you've made on behalf of myself and all the listeners of X929 here. And my weird personal question is, out of curiosity, you guys have had your songs used in the WWE before. I believe Walk Idiot Walk was someone's walkout music. And then I believe you collabed with the WWE again with Timberland for Throw It On Me. So the Hives and WWE both share a love of like theatrics and storytelling. So like, where did this collaboration come from? How does that come about?
Well, I think that was mainly because that was through Timberland. Like he wanted to do that song with WWE, and we approved of that. Like, so that was kind of driven by him. But I am a lifelong wrestling fan. Like I remember when the kids that lived in the apartment buildings next to the house I grew up in got cable. There was all of a sudden wrestling on Thursdays, and I would always do sleepovers at friend's house. I could watch wrestling, and I think there's a lot. I mean, of whatever I do on stage that probably comes from professional wrestling.
Hey, you know what? You probably grew up around the time of the Ultimate Warrior, and like he was definitely a consummate, energetic showman. So
yeah, something like that. And like I guess like the kind of Muhammad Ali / Ric Flair bragging. I don't know. Feels like there's a kinship at least.
Well, when you
thank you also for your kind of Nardwuar level research. Appreciate it.
I always say if I'm going to do an interview, because I'm kind of like a pinch hitter here at the radio station, that I should, treat it with the respect it deserves. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate it back. And if you come to Calgary, if you're a wrestling fan, we got Bret the Hitman Hart's bar here, so you can check out that.
Yeah. It's that whole family, like the Hart family. Is that all Calgary?
That's true. They serve pink beers here.
I think that's all you need to say. I'm booking a show in Calgary now.
Well, thank you so much. The Hives, forever, forever the Hives. Check it out. I'm going to say buy the album. You can say stream it if you want, but I think people should go out and buy the album, buy the vinyl, and good luck on the rest of the tour, man. And just keep making music because I love it. We all love it.
Thank you very much, man. Take care, and I hope I see you soon.
All right, see you, Pelle.
Bye-bye.